Okay, so growing organically is perfect with the Plant Hydrator. You see Organic Plus. This here, or the soil that I used previously, potting mix, was also organic. So I'm going to use the old stuff, which is already spent materials, the nutrients have been used up, and I'm going to mix in some of this. Most of this will be on the top, and I'll explain in a little while. Okay, so as you can see, this was a previous pepper plant. The soil is dry, or the potting mix is dry. At this point, this is considered hydrophobic. It's not going to want to soak up water. So what you want to do is break up the material, like what I'm doing here. By the way, we're filming inside. It's a last minute choice. Outside was just crazy windy, so we had to bring it indoors to film indoors, and it's going to be windy for a while, and we need to get this video out. So is this to demonstrate to you that we'll be mixing it up like this, just to break it up. But if you have your tools ready, you can do it much easier with the proper tools. Don't really need it, saves money if you don't use it, but tools make your work a lot easier. See, that's what was growing in there before, sweet bell. Okay, that's about all. You don't really need to have it broken up too fine. So you're wondering about the roots that were in there before. It's fine. It'll actually decay and create compost for your new plant that'll be growing in there. So all you have to do is take your pot, add your soil, and look, the bugs that are in there, don't have to worry about it. That's fine. These bugs you don't want in there, but they'll be all right. They don't typically harm the plant. Well, the plants when I'm growing. So bugs will stay in. You'll get your plant. We're gonna take this guy out. We're gonna put this guy here. You'll see a lot of videos where people say you'll have to break apart this to get the roots nice and spade it out so that way the roots will grow. I don't do that. I just put it in there. And then get the organic stuff. We're going to mix it up. You'll want to hydrate it before doing any of this. It makes it easier and not as dirty. But this is just to demonstrate that, you know, it's not necessary. A lot of the techniques you see people using work. They do work, but if you have the right process, not necessary. But if you don't have, you know, the right or critical growing environment or ability, you know, those processes which people demonstrate do work. I'm just demonstrating that it's not really necessary with my Plant Hydrator. Okay, so that is it. It's all in. After this, we'll wet it and then set up the Plant Hydrator, and the Plant Hydrator will take over. and we'll show videos on that, or pictures on it as time goes on, watching the plant grow. So the Plant Hydrator's way of working is from the top down. Most systems that you see in container gardening, self-watering containers and whatnot, work from the bottom up, bringing moisture up. They say it's to save time, but until the roots get established and grow deep, you got to constantly water your plants by hand. And that's why I like the top down approach, because with the Plant Hydrator you can feed water from the top down, so it will grow with your plant versus having your plant to grow into the system. It will grow with your plant. So as you're feeding here, plants are growing out, it's always watered from the top down. It also makes adding nutrients, let's say compost mix, much easier, because you add it to the top, gravity takes it down and the water takes it down. Also, when you water from the top down, that water pulls in air. It pulls in air through the media, giving your roots the needed air. This media here, I did not put perlite because it's aerated enough with the mulch that you see inside. So if I want to, I will get a organic compost manure and I can use that, or I can make, or you can make compost tea and use that. But with this, just now, this will be fine just to get your plant going, see how your plant is growing, and as your plant is growing, you can see what nutrients are deficient, and you can add it through compost tea, because this will be an organic grow through compost tea. But if you want to do traditional, then you can add the fertilizers that you think may be necessary, which usually just a general 16-16-16 will work with the plants. So we'll take it outside and we can show you from there on. See you in a bit. Alright, so we're outside right now in my greenhouse. It's a small 8x8 greenhouse. Later on I'll show you how I built it. It's a very cheap but effective greenhouse. I built the greenhouse specifically so I could grow my cucumbers. Normally the cucumbers will grow very well until they start fruiting, and once they fruit, the cabbage beetle tends to come in and just wipes out the whole crop. So that's why I built this greenhouse, was to shed it from the cabbage beetle from coming in and just decimating it. So anyway, as I said, right now the soil is hydrophobic because it's dry. So what you're going to want to do is just wet it. Let it sit for a little bit. You have to let it slowly absorb the water. If you just soak it, it's going to just flood. So you want to wet it, let it sit for a little bit, then wet it again. And then there, you're just going to let it sit for about 5 minutes, and you come back and wet it again. That's why I would recommend before you transplant, you would wet the soil, mix it up, make sure it's hydrated first, and when you do your transplant, all you got to do is just add the hydrator on it and you're good to go. So after this, that's it. I'll just be adding on the hydrator, and that's it. Thank you for watching.